Welcome back to the Sooner Saloon. I'm with Nick. Emerson couldn't make it. Nick, I think we're going to talk about some Kent State at Oklahoma today. You good with that?
Of course.
Before we get started, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We love the feedback. Feedback is better than no feedback. Am I right?
Exactly. And if you're diehard Sooner fans like us, go ahead and subscribe, like.
There you go. So we're going to get started. 0-1 Kent State at number 7, 1-0 Oklahoma. It's going to be 6 p.m. Central Time on ESPN Plus. If you do not have ESPN Plus, get that squared away now. If you're anything like me, unorganized, get it taken care of now. Anyway, let's get started. Nick, some things that most Sooner fans don't know about Kent State. Let us have it.
Yeah, so don't get fooled by Kent State not being a part of a Power 5 conference, okay? This is a team that won their conference a season ago and was a bowl eligible team. They are projected to win their conference again, which is the Mid-American. They lose to Washington last week, 45-20. Some things could have gone their way, some calls that didn't quite go their way. They did hang around in that game, though. This is also a team that was down 10-3 against Texas A&M last season on the road, and that's the same Texas A&M team that, beat Alabama, the same Texas A&M team that we all have in our top 10 and many others do.
3.
Yeah, so, and the Kent State coaching staff, these players don't want to shy away from competition because I'm going to tell you this. They have not only Washington, they have Oklahoma, and they have Georgia on their non-conference slate. So they're chomping at the bit, I'll tell you that much. And another thing, Kent State also has a very fast-paced offense, which I'm looking forward to see how this defense matches up to it.
Speaking of offense, Nick, let's talk about Kent State's offense versus Oklahoma's defense.
Yeah, so Kent State, they have 3 offensive linemen that they get back from a season ago. They have quarterback Colin Schlee. I do believe he's a dual-threat guy, and he's also their leading rusher right now. He's slippery. He takes what he can get with his legs, and he's good at it. He threw for 178 yards against Washington, a touchdown, 2 interceptions, but he also carried the rock 8 times with 47 yards rushing. Their leading wide receiver, Dante Cephas, had 6 receptions, 105 yards. And they also have running back Marquez Cooper, who is very good in space, very elusive. He will be involved on their kickoffs. He'll be one of their main returners. They like to take shots downfield, so it's going to be interesting to see how OU schemes for that. Last week we were playing, it looked like a cover 3 with a lot of cushion, but you didn't see a lot of plays go downfield for over 20 yards.
They didn't really show their cards last weekend.
They didn't, and I can't blame them. But that's what's going to be interesting to see about it. I still expect our defensive line to dominate. Reggie Grimes had a career day, 2.5 sacks, and the whole D-line was an absolute force from our 1s to our 2s and 3s. Isaiah Coe and Josh Ellison still had a good day. Jeffrey Johnson had a good day. They were dominating that game. I would like to see us kind of shape up our coverage, be a little bit tighter on our coverages. And, that front 7 for Oklahoma was pretty good last week. There wasn't a lot of times that there was breaking tackles. It was usually guys who were stopping their tracks. But Kent State did convert 10 out of 17 times on third down. We'll see how Oklahoma can get off the field. But I do still expect Oklahoma to have their way with this team. What I would like to see as far as the Sooner defense, 1, get off the field on third downs. 2, maximize on the opportunities you get as far as turnovers. Danny Stutzman had a interception that he dropped that I think he could have got. Billy Bowman had a 50-50 ball, was tied up with a UTEP receiver. I want to go get those. So just maximize all the opportunities you get defensively.
Okay. Now we're going to flip it a little bit. Oklahoma's offense versus Kent State's defense. Some thoughts on that?
Well, I still think Oklahoma should be able to score at will. Last week, offensive line was kind of a mix-up, with Wanye Morris being out for these first 2 games. You got Tyler Guyton coming in, but the coaching staff was high on him. So, You had Tyler Guyton go to left tackle, and then you had Anton Harrison go to right tackle, and that was just for more comfort on Guyton's side. But I want to see the O-line protect a lot better than what they did. Would you agree with that?
Most definitely. It seemed like that first quarter, Oklahoma could score whenever they wanted. They did whatever they want that first quarter. The second quarter, I don't know if they got a little too comfortable. I don't know if they just tried some new things. It kind of got a little stale in the second quarter. But I think Oklahoma can tighten up those kinks and get going.
Yeah, because there's a point in time, like you said, we were up 21-0, and then our next possession, we go 3 and out. So a little bit more consistent. I mean, it's not the end of the world. We're going to score points, but I do want to see it a little bit more consistent. And when you got the defense that's on the field for almost an entirety of the first quarter and first half, maybe run the ball a little bit more with those running backs. Gray, Marcus Major, get him more involved in the game early. And maybe even Javante Barnes, Gavin Sawchuk, Tawi Walker. I like to see those guys. And this wide receiver core, get them a little bit more involved. Braden Willis had a big day, with, I believe it was, can't remember how many receptions, but he had 40 yards, 2 touchdowns out of it. So
Okay. All right, so with all that, you got a score? You got a prediction? What do you got?
I mean, I still think that Oklahoma should handle them, and I think they will handle them, but they just can't come in, expecting to
Overly
kick ass.
confident?
Yeah, exactly. But if I had to give a prediction, and I think if it's the perfect day, how I see it, I think it's going to be about a 55-16 game.
Okay. All right, well, 55-16. What did they score? Do you know how much they scored against Washington last week? Do you know
They
what
scored
that was?
20, but they also had a PI call that was just off the wall that wasn't a PI, which they could have scored off of. And then they had a fumble recovery right off the kickoff that would have gave them a lot more momentum. So,
Okay. All righty. Sounds good. I like Oklahoma. What I picked last week, I picked 59-9. Then what they won 45-13.
yep.
Okay, and this team's a little bit better than UTEP. Okay, so on top of that, we got a primetime game evening. Everybody's going to be there. Hopefully, going to be a little bit harder to play in. I
Won't
think
be as hot either.
Yeah, a lot of the fans left. I think after halftime, you saw it kind of clearing out. The temperature on the field was 110.
Yeah, it was maxed out.
Okay, yeah, there you go. So that takes some of the home field advantage away. If I had to guess the top of my head, we'll say 52-17 Oklahoma. 52-17. So that's my prediction. I think we're gonna wrap it up. Do you have anything else that you want to throw in there?
Let's just capitalize on last week, and I expect Foley to do that. Week 1, get it out of the way. You're going on to week 2. Be a little bit more primed up, get those kinks out, no more false starts, offensive line.
And cheer for Nebraska this week. We at least want Nebraska to be 2-1 when we play them, not 1-2. Okay, just cheer for Nebraska. Be with those fans.
No promises on it.
That's a different topic for a different day. I'm Taylor. This is Nick. Boomer Sooner. See you guys Saturday.